Do not adjust your screen. We're back again. I know you saw us on Wednesday, but you know what? After watching that football game, I said we got to do this one more time before the season starts officially for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're talking with Gene from BucWhatYaHeard, and I'm joined by my esteemed colleagues, my co-host Ken, not to be mistaken for Shaq Barrett, and Evan, my guy. It's not winter yet, winter. What's going on?
What's up, guys? Hope y'all are doing good.
Good, man. So did that game last night just get you all fired up for seeing the Bucs play this year?
Oh, 100%, man. Last night's game got me just like not only fired up for this weekend, but just for the season in general. As y'all know, I talked to y'all both on a personal basis. I've had very low expectations for this entire season, just to save for the potential of no football. So the fact that we got to watch live meaningful football last night and we get live meaningful football in 2 days, can't ask for anything more.
Game on, baby. That's what we're talking about right now. It's about to happen.
100%.
100%. Yep.
So, I want to jump into this real quick. We're only going to be on for about 30 minutes. Normally we go a little bit longer, but I know you guys have your weekend and everything planned out. I just wanted to kind of, talk about what to look for. So I'm going to start with you, Ken, and I'm going to go down the line here. What are your keys to being successful for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus a New Orleans Saints team that is continuously going to the playoffs? What do you consider keys to success for this team?
It has to be pass rush, man. I mean, we saw Cesar Ruiz is out, and Drew Brees is going to get that ball out probably even quicker than Tom Brady will. And whether it be via blitz or four-man fronts, we just gotta get him off his mark, gotta get him moving in the pocket, because the more we do that, the better chance something bad's going to happen. The only interception we had against the Saints last year was when he rushed to throw to Alvin Kamara, got tipped off the back of his hand and into Sean Murphy Bunning's hands, and that's the kind of stuff we need. I don't think sacks at the end of the day are going to be easy to come by, but pressures are going to be key.
Yeah. Totally disrupting the quarterback and throwing off that chemistry with those wide receivers. Evan, what about you? Keys to victory?
Yeah, man, it's definitely going to be pressure. I agree 100% with Kenny. I mean, when you look at it, the Bucs last year through 14 games averaged 24 pressures per game, according to Pro Football Focus. But whenever they play the Saints, they only averaged 9 pressures a game. So you're missing 66% of the production you get on the pass rushing side, which, as we know, when it comes to all great quarterbacks rather, you've got to get them under pressure. You've got to get them seeing ghosts. You've got to get them, even if you have a quarterback like Drew Brees who likes to let the ball go quick, even if he lets the ball go quick, yet he thinks he sees ghosts, he could throw it to the wrong person. So, yes, a quick release is a big point, but at the same time, if it's a quick release under pressure, it could hamper the decision-making ability, which when it comes to these quarterbacks like Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, obviously he's not in the league anymore, but just your more cerebral quarterbacks, that could really play a huge factor in this game. The Bucs also recorded a little bit over 3.5 sacks per game last year. When they played the Saints, they recorded 1 total sack in 2 games. So not only do you have to pressure the quarterback, you've got to hit the quarterback. But now a lot of that was because of Sean Payton's scheme. And I'll admit I was lazy since last night, since I published, or 2 nights ago when I published my own podcast. I haven't looked up the Saints offensive line coach, but whoever he is, they both had a great game plan in both games, week 5 and week 11, used a lot of zone schemes, used a lot of double teams on Vita Vea. And honestly, this pass rush starts with Vita Vea. So when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, it's got to be pressure. They're going to have to pressure Drew Brees. That will help this young secondary, their cornerbacks. But when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, I'm going to let one of y'all go with it.
All right.
There's a lot of different types of avenues they could take.
Yeah.
I got one pop quiz for you guys real quick.
Okay.
Pop quiz question. Which quarterback did the Bucs sack last year in their lone sack against the Saints?
Taysom Hill.
Mike
Edwards.
It wasn't Drew Brees or Teddy Bridgewater. It was Taysom Hill.
It was on a safe blitz. Yeah, it wasn't even Drew Brees.
And because he was holding to the ball too much. I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and
Well, no.
It was a
Bowles
read
got
option,
creative.
and he was
Yeah,
running.
right. It was a safety blitz, and that's what Bowles is going to need to do this week. The Bucks can't rely just on basic pressure. They're going to have to get creative this week for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. On the offensive side of the ball, taking care of the ball, execution and taking care of the ball are going to be huge. It's not something, and I wanted to talk about this, guys. Last year, and I don't care who you are, if you're watching this right now and you're a Bucks fan, at some point between the first and the fourth quarter, you saw a series and you're like, man, I hope we don't turn the ball over. You're lying. You are lying to me and you're lying to yourself if you say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at some point in time watching a game, you weren't thinking, man, I hope we don't turn the ball over. We're moving the ball good. This is a good series. That's not on my mind right now. I mean, to me, it's about execution. It's about familiarity. And, I think with, number 12 under center, I think it gives us a really good opportunity. And I think it's also going to help the defensive side of the ball because I kind of wanted to jump back over there. I mean, you're not having to worry about playing on a short field. And, when you have drives that are going, you have that coach on the field that can hold people accountable. And, the one thing that I will say in the offseason that we've heard a lot of is coaching and teaching. And you hadn't heard that a lot, in previous years. So I'm really excited about, what we have to look forward to. I think that this Bucks team is going to be just fine. And, on the defensive side of the ball, if I can jump in there too, turnovers are going to be huge. I know we know what we saw with the Bucks last year. I think the majority of your core, actually your core is all returning from last year. They have a year of Todd Bowles' system under their belt, and I think they're going to be able to pick up where they left off. I know we've seen in previous years where the Bucks are slow starters, but I think this is going to be a different scenario this year.
I agree. And with that, I think one turnover alone can make this a one-score game, and I think 2 turnovers wins the game.
There you go.
Point blank.
And
obviously the turnover margin is going to be something to keep an eye on this year, especially whenever and whether it's the team, whether it's the quarterback, whatever, there were 30 interceptions thrown last year. So turnovers are definitely going to be the key. And to me, what's going to be like the one thing to most watch for out of this Bucks offense is the efficiency. Like, I'd almost rather have an offense gain 6 to 8 yards per play. Now, granted, adjustments go into that. The defense philosophy, the offensive philosophy goes into that, so on and so forth. Big plays are great, but even Bruce Arians said, a couple of weeks ago after the Bucks' first scrimmage that he doesn't mind 16-play touchdown drives as long as they end in a touchdown. Mm-hmm. I would almost rather just have 6 to 7 play drives every play than rely on big plays, but that's a whole nother conversation for things. Either way, you got to like what this Bucks team is facing on Sunday, especially with Ruiz and Davenport both being out. And honestly, to me, on offense, Tristan Wirfs, it's only game 1, but this is easily the biggest game of his career because without Marcus Davenport on the other side, the Saints are going to be relying on Cam Jordan. Obviously, Demario Davis, they use him a lot in blitzing. And Kenny, I'm sure you can probably talk to that. But it's going to be a lot on Cameron Jordan, who lines up on the right side of the offense / left side of the defense. And to me, Tristan Wirfs is going to be a huge factor in this game on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if O.J. Howard's the 6th offensive lineman because my keys to the game, if we're going to jump ahead a little bit, are basically just going to be Gronk and Godwin just getting open whenever possible. I think this is the biggest, most important game Gronk's going to have with us, and I think he's going to fade out for a while. Because honestly, as Evan was kind of saying, like this offense, Bruce Arians is talking about having these 14, 15 play drives. I think they're going to be more around 10 to 12 is kind of where they're going to want to be this week. I don't think they really want to extend to 14, 15 just because we're going to be basically the Saints at that point, and that's just not how Bruce Arians likes to play. However, with O.J. Howard just trying to do whatever he can, chipping or even just staying into block against Cam Jordan will be humongous. But this is the healthiest he's going to be the entire year. Gronk could probably go down in week 1 and be gone for the rest of the season for all we know. And I think this is he's the most familiar person with Tom Brady. Those two know each other like their backhands, as we saw. The Bucs had a nice little thing that they did yesterday that I thought was hilarious. But Gronk, this has to be his game to shine. The Chiefs game in the playoffs are when we're going to need him. Demario Davis had one hell of a season last year. I don't think it was as good as Levante David personally, but Demario Davis did a lot in coverage that he hadn't really done in previous years. And as Evan pointed out, he was effective as a blitzer. So which Demario Davis is going to show up week 1 for the Saints? Is it the guy who he's been the past 6-7 years, or is it the guy who was last year? And if he's the guy that's last year, he might cause some trouble with both the running backs and Gronk and over the middle.
Yeah. So hold on, Gene, real quick. So based off, Joe Haeg has one start as the 6th offensive lineman in a jumbo package when he played for the Colts that came out in Jacksonville. What do you think about Joe Haeg possibly coming in? Not like on every, like you said, O.J. Howard's going to be the 6th offensive lineman, which makes a lot more sense. But what do you think about Joe Haeg possibly coming on, especially in like goal situations? Do you think that's a possibility tomorrow night?
Haeg and Vita, put them both in.
I think kind of gets missed here is the running game. I think the running game is something you look at the running back room that we have right now. We haven't seen this quality since Doug Martin was your number 2 rusher in 2015. You haven't seen consistent rushing. I know this is all on paper right now, but I think that your running backs can definitely help as well, with this offense. And, we haven't even talked about Mike Evans when we're possibly looking at Mike Evans not even playing. But I can tell you, for me personally, I'm not jumping out the window, and guys, don't lose hope. You've got a lot of offensive weapons here. I would rather have Mike Evans healthy on the back end of the season than not have him healthy in the beginning of the season. I realize this is a division game. These division games are like gold, and you want to win these as much as you can. But again, I think as you go down the stretch, you want your wide receivers healthy. Based on what we went through last year, I would rather have Mike Evans at the end of the year than I would rather have him at the beginning of the year. Let's rest him and get him 100%, so he's ready to roll when the time really comes.
When it comes to the Bucs run game, the Saints are excellent against the run on defense. So it's not so much about establishing the run for me as it is using the run to your advantage. And I know that sounds fucking crazy. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're
crazy. I know. I'm just doing my podcast. I know that sounds crazy when you're talking about football, but in this day and age, I mean, like, let's just put in last night, for instance. The one source, and thank God we have a source of football to talk about in 2020, but the Chiefs going for it on their own,
35, something like that.
35, with 4th and less than 1 to go.
Early on in the game.
You do that all day in this league. So It's not more about establishing the run as it is taking or using the run to your advantage. But either way, the Bucs definitely need to do that tomorrow, especially if Mike Evans doesn't play. And I really think that even if Evans doesn't play, you've got Chris Godwin who can line up on the inside in the slot, as well as Scotty Miller, Justin Watson. And then you can always run the 12 personnel with Gronk, OJ, Cam, even Anthony Auclair, to where this team has options. And they could honestly use 12 personnel to their advantage to set up the run. So either way, man, I don't know. I feel like the Evans injury, yes, it's great. And also, if he can play 25% of snaps, if the doctors clear him for that, I'm fine with that as well, because you're granted 2 extra roster spots this year, active roster spots. You're up from 46 to 48. So might as well use that one on a guy like Evans who can play 25% of snaps.
There you go.
Exactly. And then I have a question for you guys. I actually saw a report earlier today that Marshawn Lattimore, they don't believe will be traveling to face Chris Godwin in the slot. Do you think the Saints will actually do that, or do you think they'll line up Chauncey Gardner-Johnson or, oh my goodness, I almost said Marcus Williams and Malcolm Jenkins in the slot against Godwin?
I would say they would travel him. I would think they would. He is your.
I think you have to if Evans doesn't.
He's your best cornerback, isn't he? I mean, would you?
100%. Yeah, and I actually texted Brendan Ertl, who writes for Canal Street Chronicles, about this very same question a little bit earlier today, and he definitely said if Evans doesn't play, then
Exactly.
Lattimore will follow Godwin inside. That's definitely the plan.
Okay.
Which to me, but Gardner Johnson did such a good job on him in Week 11. That's rather surprising to me. Might as well keep Lattimore outside against. Honestly, if Godwin's in the slot, you have Justin Watson and Scotty Miller on the outside if Mike Evans isn't playing, correct? So I would rather Lattimore be on Justin Watson and Janoris Jenkins be on Scotty Miller with an extra safety over him, obviously depending on where Scotty Miller lines up in a 3-by-1 or 2-by-2.
Yeah.
And keep Chauncey Gardner Jr. or Johnson on Godwin in the slot. But correct me if I'm wrong. CD Deuce. CD Deuce. That's what you said.
Yeah, CG Deuce.
I mean, but yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I would rather have it lined up.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I would run it too. I wanted to get your guys' opinions because I just don't know how, as a Saints fan or member, how I would feel about wasting their talents on Scotty Miller and Justin Watson when Godwin's the guy you have to look out for.
You want to kind of if you're able to eliminate that other player from the game, or from the 4 quarters. So that would be how I would look at it personally. I would have him travel. That's if you're that good and he's a good cornerback, that's what I would do.
That's why I'm saying buy all your Gronk stock this week, because he's the biggest mismatch, him and OJ. But I think Gronk, with familiarity with Brady, and I would love to have OJ Howard staying in as a 6 blocker most, or just chipping and doing like a short route, maybe catch a 3-yarder and try to get 5 on Yak. But
where you see Anthony Auclair, is this why when you look at that 53-man, that final 53-man roster, and you saw Anthony Auclair's name up there? This is one of those scenarios where you would probably utilize him as a blocker.
Yeah,
blocker.
Yeah. Near the goal line, because if the Bucks are going to win, they can't do what the Chiefs did last night. That's just not going to happen. They have to convert all 3s into 7s. They just can't.
Yeah, because that offense will hurt you. The one thing that I will say is, the Bucks have done really well against the run, and I want to see that continue here, and make the Saints use some different offensive wrinkles in order to move the ball down the field. That's going to be important as well.
Yeah, no, I have a question for you
Saints
both.
Go.
The Saints offense, go. Go.
No, I was gonna say the Saints offense is a total mind fuck. So that's just what I say.
We're seeing this.
So
is
anybody's
my
guess as to what they're trying to do. They can make 12 personnel look like 11 personnel in a heartbeat, or vice versa, or they can make 21 personnel look like 11 personnel. So it's just all about tape study and what you think their tendencies are, and plus just how Todd Bowles puts his defense on the field. No, I was gonna say if he puts his defense out in like a dime package, but like I said, but the Saints have 21 personnel making it look like 11 personnel, and 13 or 12 personnel looking like 11 personnel, then that's going to be an issue. I mean, it's just it especially depends on how you have the safety brought in the box, how you have one of the tight ends split out, if that's even the case. I mean, there's so much flexibility within the Saints offense and what they like to do.
Situational, don't you? If the Bucks are able to move the ball, you kind of have to base your defense off of what the Bucks are doing successfully to try to take that away from them.
Oh yeah. With the Saints defense and Bucks offense, for sure. I'm talking about the Saints offense and Bucks defense.
Okay.
The Saints will line up in 13 personnel in 1st and 10. And yet they're totally cool with a 4-yard completion with a flat route out to Alvin Kamara or Jared Cook. I mean, they literally take what you give them based off of what they line up in. And for a rookie like Antoine Winfield, that's going to be a big deal. And that's why he's one of my most important players of this game.
Same. And how many balls do you think Drew Brees throws over 10 yards this game? See, this is my only thing
Yeah,
is what
I'll
defense can you possibly play and stop this offense of the Saints, because they're so good from 0 to 10 yards that you can throw whatever blitzes you have at them. And what worries me as a Bucs fan is if Todd Bowles wants to go cover 0 or cover 1, or excuse me, not cover 1, all out blitzing man across the board with one high safety. All it takes is Alvin Kamara or Michael Thomas to win on an angle route or a slant route, and there's no help.
Slant route,
so how do you defend them?
Right. Well, and a perfect example is going back to what I was talking about is like they like to line up in so many heavy packages and so many two tight end formations, but yet they have athletic receivers enough to still spread you out. Is like you don't know. Like one perfect example, and this is what Chris Schoner on Bucs Nation just put out today that I kind of helped him on, was kind of a film study on how to beat the Saints this week. One example was the Saints. It was a lot of fun. But one example was the Saints lined up in a 3-by-1 set, yet they had tight ends and they were inside the 20. And the Bucs still lined up in split safety personnel. So, cover 7, cover 2, cover 5, whatever, designate it. And what that does is makes you light in the box, yet you still have to respect the run because the Saints ran the ball so damn much against the Bucs. So, it's like I said, it's a total mindfuck. And it's literally about finding a groove and really limiting the Saints offense. As long as you don't let the Saints offense put you in a hole, you should be able to play this defense pretty fairly. But again, that remains to be seen.
Well, see, I mean, that's why I think the best blueprint to beat this team is the Fitzpatrick way. You have to outshoot them, which is why honestly, I'm not even that worried about the running game. As long as we run effectively when we do run, just average 4 or 5 yards a carry, nothing spectacular, maybe Rojo bust one, like that'd be cool. But I think the keys of this game is the short, doing what they do back at them, mastering that short to intermediate game, control the clock, use the pass game as your run game.
Yeah, and I think the the running back core has definitely been upgraded from last year. So I think that's gonna benefit the offense as well. On paper. Excuse me.
Yeah, 100%.
Let me preface that by saying on paper.
This game should totally be competitive. It's going to be hard to make this game a blowout. That's for sure. It just really all depends on how much the Bucs defense can really take that step forward, in my opinion.
And again, it kind of goes back to pressuring the quarterback. And like you were talking about, Ken, you don't have to worry about sacks. It's about getting quarterback pressures. It's about making the quarterback uncomfortable and putting him in a position where he's got to make those quick throws, which is in turn is going to help your linebacker core in your secondary, which we haven't talked about this, but we do have a very young secondary. So all of this is going to all work together in potentially beating the Saints. All right, guys. Like I said, I wasn't going to stay on very long, but I just wanted to get you guys on here. I love having you guys on, and thank you so much in the off season. This is a perfect opportunity for thank you guys. You introduced me to Kenny, and we were working together, and you coming on in the off season, and helping me to just kind of keep up with the Bucs. And I appreciate both you guys, and I hope to see more of you as the season goes on. But it's the weekend. I wanted to throw this out here and just kind of get your thoughts, keys to victory. We've all got our idea, and I think we're all pretty much on the same page, and it's all about the Bucs winning. Again, I'm not going to jump out the window if this is a loss, but the Bucs show up well. It's just progression towards getting to the playoffs. That's the end result, wins over losses.
So I know it's week 1, and it's been a crazy-ass offseason, but who do y'all got winning this game? Give me a winner and a score prediction.
Jeez. Okay.
I'm putting y'all on the spot.
I guess I'll go first.
Okay.
Rarely even long time listener was asking who catches Tom Brady's first pass. I think Gronk catches the first pass. I have a toss up between Gronk and Rojo, one of the two, because I'm in the Rojo fan club. But
you're the president. You're the prez. Don't get mistaken. And I'm the vice prez.
So hey, we've got somebody here from Bulgaria. What's going on, Risto?
Bulgaria, nice.
Yeah, sure. And the Bucs are worldwide.
Yes, sir.
So I've got the Saints winning this game, and I'm sorry, I know I'm going to get grief for this. It's too soon, because of no OTAs, no camp. Um, the fan in me says the Bucs are going to win, but when I'm looking at this team that's gone to the playoffs multiple times and what they've done, I've got it 24-21.
All right. 37-35 Bucks. I think there's an missed extra point in there. I think Drew Brees is going to have the opportunity to go down for the game-winning field goal, and whether that's a miss or the Bucs somehow stop him, I'm going to give them the 2-point win.
Man, if the Bucs win this weekend, I'm gonna be so hyped. But unfortunately, I have them losing 8-24. I think the Saints will cover. I think the Bucs are gonna make enough plays to be competitive. I don't know, and the Saints, I kind of more know than I do. Well, yeah, you're right. We probably know, but I've still got to see it happen. Now, this, Kenny, like you and I have talked about privately in DMs and stuff, this game will not be a reflection of the entire season.
No.
However, I do think Tampa Bay comes up just slightly short, and the Saints win 28-24.
Yeah, no, I'm obviously the more optimist on my prediction, but that's just because I think the Bucs are more ahead of what the media is making them out to be in terms of the preparation and the continuity that the team has, especially offensively. I think that it might not be 100%, but I think it's 85% there, and I think the media thinks it's 50 to 60% there. I think there's going to be some bugaboos. There might even be one turnover. But I think in the end that you're going to see a solid reflection of this offense that will get you excited for the rest of the season.
Just real quick, just think about where we've come from to say that there might be one turnover.
And I didn't even say it was Brady turning it over.
Right, exactly. I hear one turnover. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's go.
Hey, rarely even had a quick question. What do you guys think? What's going to be your bold predictions? I think Rojo goes over 100 yards.
I like that. My bold prediction is both quarterbacks throw for over 300 yards. I think Brady and Breeze are going to have a big day.
See, I would have Brady going 400. I like Evan's prediction is 600, but I think Brady has to go 400, and I don't think Breeze makes 300, but he's going to be ultra efficient, and he's probably going to have maybe 4 TDs.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns, like 225 passes.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Because Taysom Hill's going to have some packages. They're not going to have a lot of yards per play. Bless you.
I can't stand when they bring Taysom Hill in. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's
even the future quarterback of the New Orleans
Saints. I think just to be clear, I think you're absolutely right. It's just the thought Taysom Hill comes in. Hold on.
I don't know why it changes their entire dynamic of their offense, and to me, having Breeze out there is a waste of a player. Like just to be a wide receiver, you're not going that way.
The weirdest times, like 2nd and 8,
and that's when the
opponent's 36.
When Edwards got that sack, it took him out of field goal range, and they couldn't recover.
Right.
Like, why then? They moved the ball to the 35. You have an unstoppable offense at home.
Trust me, I had Drew Brees the last couple of years fantasy-wise, and they bring Taysom in, like, when they get to the 12-yard line. I'm just like, what are you doing? I'm just like,
he's the leading NFL passing leader in touchdowns, and you take him off the field.
Yeah, I don't know. Yep, Hey, it kept him from getting clowny, so I'm cool with it.
Yeah, there we go, man.
Well, here's my question for you. Do you think the Saints make one more big splash move? I think they have to trade for someone at this point, or that money's going to Kamara because what are they going to do with it?
Got to lock Kamara in.
Well, see, that's what I thought too. But Evan actually brought up a great point that they could have brought in. Oh my God! Please say the name because I obviously messed it up earlier. Who are they going to bring in? The guard who wound up.
Larry Warford.
But imagine if they had the opportunity to bring in Larry Warford to replace Ruiz at least to start off. Like that finding a move like that would be very beneficial for them at least at some point.
Clay Matthews is
Corey Flash. What's going on?
Clay Matthews.
I think that Clay Matthews is reasonable to believe that you could bring somebody like that in here. Stephen Pryor is saying my bold prediction is Brady won't throw an interception on his first pass.
What
Or
if
his
Brady
last
throws the
pass,
pick
man.
6 on his first pass? That would be
Yeah,
the Bucks' life.
Jesus. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for taking time on here. I want to get you guys on here again after, get your thoughts on. I know you've got your show coming on Wednesday, and Evan, but we will be back on here again Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. The reason we do that on Wednesday is so we can watch the All 22 on Tuesday and make sure we can talk effectively about what the Bucks did or didn't do. So be sure to check us out, and we'll definitely be doing that. But guys, I'm going to let you get back to your weekend. Thank you for jumping on here real quick, and you guys are appreciated. Again, go Bucks. We're out of here.
Good Bucks.
Go Bucks.